Always Be My Baby was the first song that I wrote with Jermaine Dupri, and it was the first song that I wrote for the album. And I guess we did it like 2 summers ago. And he came in from Atlanta because he lives down in Atlanta. And I had just been a fan of his production work for a long time, like since he first started with Crisscross, and then what he was doing with Escape. I just felt that he had a really unique style and a great sound because it was very raw and street, but it still had kind of a happy feeling to it, which is something that I like. And so we got together and with Jermaine and Manuel Seal, who plays a lot of keyboards and stuff for him on his production, whatever he does sometimes. And we wrote it in I guess like a day, couple hours. And I think it's a fun, happy song. A lot of people say it's their favorite song from the record. And then we did some remixes. I did a remix with Jermaine. That it was it's the SOS band, Tell Me If You Still Care, loop, and we had Escape come in. It was kind of like the So-So Def party. Escape came in and did some back vocals, and Brat did her stuff, and it was good. We had a good time. We filmed a video while we did it, and it's been good because I've been able to, like, like I said, make some new friends doing these things, and it's fun. And then I did a remix with David Morales too, like a house mix, and that was fun because I always like recreating the records when I work with him. I love being able to incorporate the street into what I do. I mean, I guess starting with something like Dream Lover, working with Dave Hall. It's a pop record, but it definitely has an R&B undertone, and I mean, it was a big R&B hit as well. So something like that was like a lot of fun for me to do. And even some of the stuff that I did with Cole and Clavillis, it was different, but it still had that influence in it because David Cole was very gospel oriented, and he was a great piano player, so he had that feel. But I loved doing fantasy, especially the remixes with Puffy and working with ODB, which a lot of people were surprised about. But I'm a big Wu-Tang fan, and I love ODB's flavor. His style, to me, was perfect for that record. Like, if I could think of anyone in the world, he's the only one that I would want on that record, because he just tore it up. He brought it to like a new level. As far as I'm concerned, I want to continue to collaborate with the different hip-hop producers and different rap artists, and just, it's fun for me. I mean, I get a chance to have a good time and meet new people and make new friends and take my music to another level, and it seems it's funny to say take it to another level when you're talking about breaking it down more, making it more street, but to me, that takes it to another place, and it just grounds me. I think it keeps me real in a sense. Things happen very quickly for me, but prior to the whole like record deal, my whole life was just kind of a journey waiting for this to happen, I mean, and I grew up not having a lot of money, moved around with my mom like 13 times, or yeah, about 13 or 10 times by the time I was in 7th grade, so I never really had any roots anywhere, and then I was in high school, and I was writing songs that ended up on my first album. I lived in Long Island, but I would drive by myself, which is kind of ridiculous because I have the worst sense of direction. And I would be like 16, driving into Manhattan and driving home at like 3 in the morning, and then getting up to go to school. And after that, as soon as I got out of high school, I basically had my demo that ended up being most of my first album, and I started working for Brenda K. Starr, and she was very supportive of me, and she would always bring me around and try to get people to listen to my tape, and she would sing my songs from the demo, just like when she was getting ready to do her shows and whatever. So then she brought me to a party for WTG Records, which I almost didn't go to because I had a pending deal with Warner Brothers at the time. But the guy who wanted to sign me had to wait because he wasn't like high enough position, so he had to get approval from different people above him. And so he was very interested, and my writing partner at the time said, "Don't go to this party. You don't need to go. Why are you going to go do this?" And I just said, "I'm going to go." So I went, and she went to hand my tape to a guy named Jerry Greenberg, who she used to work with, and Tommy was there, and he grabbed it, and she went to hand it to Jerry. He grabbed it out of his hand, and I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who. I'd never been to a party like that. I was just this kid with a tape, and I had no clue, who anybody was. And so then she said, "Don't you know that's Tommy Mottola? Oh my, I can't believe it." And I'm like, all right, he's not going to listen to this tape. So he got into the limo, and he put it on, and he didn't think it was the same person that he saw at the party, so he came back to find me, and I was gone. Then he found me that Monday through Brenda's management and left a message on my machine. "Tommy Mottola, CBS, call me back, bye." And I went up there with my mom because I didn't have. Well, I mean, it was very difficult for me being a person, a multiracial person, because I didn't feel that I was exactly like anybody that I knew. I felt like I didn't feel 100% like my mother, you know. I didn't feel exactly like my father. I sort of felt like I didn't grow up with my brother and sister either because they're older and they were out of the house by the time I got to be like in first grade and whatever. So when they were around, I guess I felt like similar to them, but I always felt completely different from everybody else I knew. And so it was hard in that way, but I think everything that I went through made me a stronger person. And I think feeling like that made me gravitate towards music that much more because it was an escape for me. And it was something that I felt special about myself, something that I had that other people didn't have. The fact that my mother was a professional singer was a big deal because it made me realize that it was a possibility. It wasn't just a far-fetched goal. But, I mean, she sang opera. She sang with New York City Opera, but she also sang jazz, and she had jazz musicians around the house and in the house till 3 in the morning playing, and I would sit in with them. And, I mean, I think just the fact that there was music in my house got me into it even more. But I don't